tonight, Daf Kuf Yud Zayin, Tuesday's Daf, as we get to finish the 8th parak. But first, let's pick it up on the third wide line on Kuf Te Zayin Amud Beis. Omer Rabbi Chia bar Abba, Omer Rabbi Yochanan, Mamidin bekevas nevelos. You can be maimed the cheese, meaning that's the process of making the cheese that mixes with the rennet enzyme that's inside of the kevas nevelos, even though obviously a nevela is also to eat. But we look at this as like an independent, separate entity. But ve'ein mamidin bekevas shchitas ovid kechavim. The guy goes ahead and shechts an animal, which you obviously also can't eat. That will be a problem to make your cheese inside of that kevas shchitas ovid kechavim. And of course the question is, what's the difference? Why is nevela any better? Omar lefon of Rabbi Shimon bar Abba, Kiman, who's going like it's Rabbi Eliezer. De Omar stam machsheves ovid kechavim lavodas kechavim. Itaka is worse, because when a guy kills an animal, he's doing it l'shem avodas kechavim, which has an isser hana. To which Rabbi Chia bar Abba says back, Omar le ve'ela kaman, like who else? Like totally Rabbi Eliezer. But ki yosser Rav Shmuel bar Rav Yitzchak Omar Rabbi Yochanan, mamidin bein bekevas nevela, bein bekevas shchitas ovid kechavim. They're going to have the same halacha that you can do it, and you can be maimed your cheese in there. Why? Shalei lochish ledivrei Rabbi Eliezer. We're not chayshish for Rabbi Eliezer's chumrah that the stam ovid kechavim is doing l'shem avodah zarah. Ve'hilchasa ein mamidin be'or kevas nevela. You can't be maimed inside the actual basar, the of the nevela. Aval mamidin bekevas nevela, but you could do it with the rennet that's found inside the stomach, because that rennet is not considered part of the animal. Uve kevas shchitas ovid kechavim, because we're going like Rav Shmuel or Rav Yitzchak that we're not chayshish for Rabbi Eliezer, and we'll read the girsa the way we have it here. Uve kevas kshera sheyonka min hatrefa, that rennet that comes from a kosher animal that was yonik from a trefa, v'kol shekaim bekevas trefa sheyonka min hakshera, where that rennet actually came from heter dika cholav. And my time it's because cholav hamechunas ba, that milk that's inside of that keva is pirsha ba'almahu. It's just considered pirsha, which is like waste, but the idea is it's not considered cholav anymore. It's a different product, and therefore the rennet that's found inside the kevas gedi that was yonik from a trefa is going to be mutter because it's looked at as just this ferish. And that is that. Zok, the last mission in the parak. Chaymer b'chelev mi bedam. There's a chumrah of chelev, meaning that usser kind of fat, over dam, even though they're both usser, and likewise v'chaymer bedam b'chelev. Chaymer b'chelev, what's the chumrah of chelev over dam shechelev, moving over to Amud Aleph? Moyalin boy, there is an isser me'ila for being nene with chelev. You got to bring your Asham Milas, and you got to pay for the hana plus the extra chaimish, but that's only by chelev. V'chayav and alav mishum pigel noiser v'tameh. Even though there's typically an isser chalal isser, you will still have these isurim. Mashe'ein kain b'dam, as opposed to the dam of kodshim, that if you're nene from the dam of kodshim, of course it's usser, but you're not chayiv for the me'ila. V'chaymer b'dam, on the other hand, there's a chumr by dam over chelev, shadam noig b'behema chayiv ha'oif. Bein b'tmeim, bein b'tayrim. All these different kinds of animals are all have an isser of dam. V'chelev ein a noig ella b'behema tahira bilvad. Just kosher behemoths, not even chayis or reifais. Okay, but this is the Mishnah says that you're chayiv me'ila for chelev kodshim minoani mili. How do you know that there is going to be this isser me'ila by chelev kodshim? And the way the Gemara is asking the kash is, how do you know even by kodshim kalim there's going to be me'ila? Because kodshim kalim are mum and bailim. And in fact, there is no isser me'ila during the lifetime of the animal, but from the fact that our Mishnah is not machalik, it seems that there is an isser of me'ila even by the kodshim kalim. So what's the mocker? Omer Rabbi Yanai de Omer Kra, the pasuk says, by the parkoin gadol, kasher yuram mishar zevach hashlamim. Now v'chima loman mishar zevach shlamim miata. What's the new thing that we're learning here about this carbon shlamim that the kohen gadol's bringing that we didn't already know? Harei zebol lelamed v'nim to lamed. Since we're not learning anything new to it, it must be coming as a source to teach something else. That makish shar zevach hashlamim lepar kohen mashiach. That ma par kohen mashiach yesh ba meila, because that's kodshim. Af shar zevach hashlamim yesh ba meila. Even by a zevach shlamim, which is kodshim kalim, and there was no isser meila while it was still alive, but once it's geshachten, its emurim, etc., are going to be chayv and meila after the zrikas adam is done. Frak de Gemara, Amar le Rabbi Chanina, ku'urazu shishana Rabbi. Well, you have such a big problem with what Rabbi already taught us, that the Brisa says kol chelev laHashem, which we darshan l'Rabbas emurei kodshim kalim l'meila. So we already had a mucker. Kol chelev tells us this, that there is an isser meila because they're all bechlal the kodshei Hashem. So Amar Abaya, no, it's true. I need both drushes. Dikas of Rachmana chelev, which Rabbi tells us have amina chelev in, but yeseres v'shtei koloyais loy. Those other parts of the animal are not going to be chayv and meila, because the pasuk wasn't talking about the yeseres and the shtei koloyas. And therefore, kosav Rachmana kasher yuram, our drusha that we started off with. V'i kosav Rachmana kasher yuram, I would have thought have amina chelev alya leisa b'shar. There is no chelev alya in the shar that the pasuk was talking about, and therefore, loy, you might not think that there'd be meila there. So kosav Rachmana kol chelev. So basically, we need both drushas to cover all our bases the different parts of the kachim column. Frak the Gemara, Amar le Rav Mari le Rozvid, I alya ikri chelev. If you're telling me that the alya, which is the tail, is taka bichlal the word chelev, so titzer v'achila, because chelev's taka aser, but we don't find that the alya is considered aser. So Amar le Zok Rozvid back to Rav Mari, Alech Amar Kra, kol chelev shar v'chesev v'oez. That we darshan davar hashava b'shar v'chesev v'oez, that the chelev isra will only be on the kind of chelev which is across the board on all these different animals. La'afuke, the chelev alya, which is exclusive to that sheep. So even though chelev alya is bichlal the word chelev, it's still going to be mutter to eat. Rav Ashi Amar a different mucker. That chelev alya ikroi, but chelev stama lo ikroi. You're only going to call it chelev alya, but you're not going to say it's stam the regular isser chelev. So then, for example, the other way, elamiata lo yimuluba, then there shouldn't even be meila, because the Torah only asered the regular kind of chelev, not the chelev alya. Ela machvarta k'der Zvid. You're right. Let's go back to what Rav Zvid had said, that only a davar hashava shar v'chesed v'ev is going to be aser. Then the Mishnah said, masha ein kain bedam, that dam of kodshim is not shaykh to meila, pigel, nicer tame. So minoni mili. So Amar Ula, you know how I know that dam kodshim is not shaykh to meila? Because Amar Kra lochem, that the dam gives you kapara shalochem yehei, that it's considered yours. It's lochem, meaning it's not Hashem's that would be shaykh to meila, but rather it's lochem. Devei bishmal tana lechaper, that Hashem has given it for kapara. Lechapara nasativ veloy lemeila. A third mocker, Rabbi Yochanan Amar Kra hu, because the pasuk says ki hadam hu ba nefesh yichaper. So who implies it is as it was. So hu lifnei kapara kila achar kapara ma la achar kapara ein by meila. Once the kapara is actually done with the dam, it's not shaykh to meila. Af lifnei kapara ein by meila. And we'll see soon in the Gemara about how after the mitzvah is done, it's no longer shaykh to meila. Well, frak the Gemara v'ema, maybe it should be the other way around. Hu la'achar kapara, kilifnei kapara. That ma lifnei kapara yesh by meila, af la'achar kapara yesh by meila. Who says we're going to go l'kula? Maybe we should go l'chumra. And for the Gemara, ein lach davar shenasa mitzvasa u'maylam bay. No, because we never find that once you do the mitzvah, it's still going to be shaykh to meila. So you can't learn it that way l'chumra. It's got to be more l'kula. I can't show you a case of where the mitzvah's been done, it's still shaykh to meila. V'harei trumas hadeshen, that first avodah that's done every morning, where the kohen would go up to the mizbeach, take the ashes from yesterday's karbanos, and then he would put it on the east side of the mizbeach, where al pinesa would be absorbed into the ground. That avodah is nasas mitzvasai, and there is meila d'chsiv v'samai etzel hamizbeach, and that the samai implies has to permanently be there, and you can't be nana from it afterwards. So why don't we say the same halachas by the dam? And for the Gemara, mishum dehave trumas hadeshen big day kahuna. I'll show you there are two things that stay aser, which is the trumas hadeshen and the big day kahuna. And the big day kahuna is referring to specifically the additional 4 begadim that the kohen gadol would wear on Yom Kippur, that they also stay aser. And those are shnei ksuvim abayim kiyachad. V'chol shnei ksuvim abayim kiyachad ein melamdin. Since there are 2 exceptions, therefore you don't have a model for the rest of Kol Terah Kula. V'hanichem sham melamed shitunim geniza. That only works well like Shitas Rabbanan that say that v'hanichem sham is referring to the big day kohen gadol, that they have to always be nignaz because they stay aser. El Rabbi Daisa de Amar shelo yishtamesh bohen liyom kippurim acher, that we don't learn an iser meila, but rather that the kohen gadol can't use them on a different Yom Kippur, but they're mutter for the rest of the year. Ma'ikil meimer. What are you going to say according to Rabbi Daisa? It doesn't seem to be shnei ksuvim abayim kiyachad anymore. El the Gemara is going to say you're right. We can't be matir the dam after the avodah is done because mishum dehave trumas hadeshen ve'egla arufa. Those are the 2 exceptions, and therefore there will be shnei ksuvim abayim kiyachad. V'chol shnei ksuvim abayim kiyachad ein melamdin. Okay, fine. So we'll use the trumas hadeshen egla arufa as the 2 exceptions. But hani chelamanda omer ein melamdin. Elamandam or melamdin ma'ikil meimar, because that is after all a machlekes. And for the Gemara, Trey turning over Tamid Beis meutik sivi. There are 2 beferish meutim in the Torah regarding trumas hadeshen and egla arufa. Hocha ksiv v'samay, as we said by trumas hadeshen, it says beferish that it's going to be aser, and hasam ksiv ho'arufa, which is the additional hay that seems extra. We darshan to say that it's going to remain aser. So you have the Torah basically telling you beferish, saying it's dafka in these 2 different halachas of trumas hadeshen and egla arufa that there'll be an iser to use them after it's nasa mitzvasai. But by the dam, there will be no meila after the zrikas hadam on the mizbeach, and it will become mutter. Frak the Gemara, utlosa kroi lama li bedam. Lamaisa comes out from these different makairos that we've had on Amud Aleph that there are 3 different makairos to be mamayad dam, and it seems we need to have drushes to use all these different miyutim that there's no iser. So l'chayra it's going to be chad l'miyute min nicer, that in a case of dam nicer you're going to be chayiv for the iser of dam but not for the nicer. V'chad l'miyute me'ila, as we said, and v'chad l'miyute mituma, that if he ate this dam kodshim when he was tamei, he's only going to be chayiv for the dam but not for the iser of eating kodshim when he's tamei. But avol mi pigel, but if you eat the dam of pigel leitzarach krub, because as we've said many times in Zvachim, ditan kol sheyesh lematirin bein la'adam bein l'mizbeach chayav and alav mishum pigel. You can only be chayiv pigel when it is something that is matird, the dam gufa matir, and the dam itself is the matir, because you do the zrika with the dam, it's matir the basar kodshim, but nothing else is matir it. And therefore it's never shaykh the iser pigel on dam, so we don't even need a pasuk to be mamay at that. And there you go, hadron alach kol ha-basar. And now we begin the 9th parak of Masechta Chullin. The Meiri actually lists this as the 11th parak, but our Gemaras have this as the 9th parak, all about Tumah and Taira. Yay! Zok the Mishnah. Ha'ar, the skin of the animal, v'haroitev, and the liquid that comes out of the animal, v'hakipa, and the spices that were used in the process of preparing the meat that are now at the bottom of the pot, v'ha'elal, which are the little pieces of meat that remain attached to the hide of the animal after you skin it, v'atzamais, the bones, the gidin, v'karnayim, and the horns, v'atlafayim, and the hooves. All of these things are mitzdarfin l'tamei tumas oichlin. They can be mitzdarif with the basar for tumas oichlin, so you can actually add these things together to make the shear. Avoloi tumas neveles. But these things are actually not the nevela themselves, and therefore they won't be mitzdarif to comprise a kezayis needed for tumas nevelas. Now the issue in this list is what's the halacha by a shomer? A shomer is that which is protecting what's inside. Like a shomer apri is the peel of a fruit. So each one of these things may have a din shomer for what's inside. Like the hooves could be a shomer of the basar that's in a foot. And that's what the Gemara will be talking about, this halacha of a shomer. Another halacha. Let's say a Jew is hired to slaughter a guy's animal. Now the halacha is for Yidden, once you do shechita, it's considered dead. There's no more Ever Menachai. But it's not that way for a guy. If the animal's still thrashing about after you do a shechita, it's still considered alive klape a guy. So Zok the Mishnah, umifarcheses, if this animal that the Yid shechted for the guy is still thrashing about, it's going to be metamet tumas eichlin, avoloi tumas nevelis. It's not considered a nevela yet, ad shetumas, until it's really dead, or ad sheyatis is reisha, or until it gets decapitated. We'll have to talk more about that in the Gemara. Ribel atamet tumas eichlin mimasha ribel atamet tumas nevelis. The Torah gave us more vehicles to be metamet tumas eichlin than tumas nevelis, because as the Mishnah listed, these things are considered foods, and therefore they're going to be conveying a tumas eichlin, but they're not considered nevela, even though it's about to become a dead carcass. But Rabbi Yehuda Aimer, ho'elal mechunas, those shreds of meat that are attached to the hide when you're flaying the animal, that were gathered together, im yesh bo kezayis b'makam echad chayav olav, there will be a tumah, and therefore, potentially, if he goes into the base of Mikdash or eats kodshim, he'll be chayav kares. Zokt the Gemara, the chiluk that our Mishnah initially makes between tumas eichlin and tumas neveles. So tanina lahad tana rabbanan, shaimrim l'tumah kala, there is a halacha of shaimrim klape tumah kala, v'loy shaimrim l'tumah chamura. So our Mishnah is telling us the halacha that there's a tziruf of the shaimer and what it's protecting, klape tumas eichlin, but not for the kezayis of tumas neveles. And now we need a mucker. Shaimrim l'tumah kala minolan. How do you know there's a halacha of shaimrim that there's a tziruf by tumah kala? The Tana Devei Rabbi Yishmael, al kol zera zerua asher yizoreya. That when the sheretz falls on the seed, it will stay tar, and because this is of course the mucker for hechsher l'kabel tumah. And we darshan kederach shebnei adam maitzin l'zriya, in the way that people plant seeds, which is chita b'klipasa, sayar b'klipasa, va'adoshim b'klipasan. Seeds are planted with their husks and their shells on. Now, even though those shells are not themselves eichlin, you don't eat them, they're not edible, and they just protect the food that's inside. But you learn from this that a shimer is mitzdarf with the food that it's protecting klape hilchas tumah, because that's the context of the pasuk. Taisus stops on the chita b'klipasa that we know from the famous Agadata in Ksuvas at the very end of the Masechta, that in the same way that a chita is planted aruma without any clothing, so too a human body is buried without any clothing, but by tchias hamesim it's going to come out with kama levushim. So why is our Gemara saying that you're burying a chita with its klipa? It's connected to the Gemara in Ksuvas. It might just mean in our Gemara that people are not makpid to take off the shells and the husks. It's actually meduik that way in Rashi, as Rabbi Gross points out that shein makpidin is Rashi's lashon. But anyway, we're still dealing with the makairos of this halach of the brisa, but we're going to stop here and pick it up from V'loi Shaimrim L'Tumah for tomorrow's daf.